I'm obsessed with soccer. Jesus is a massive part of my life, but if I had almost a religion that wasn't that, it would be soccer. To get over what I was going through, I just started writing music. You know, by the grace of God, it kind of opened up a bunch of different doors. And what it allows me to do is to learn from the people that I have in front of me. And I've learned more about music and about storytelling through chefs. So I told him, I'm a Milan fan now. I fell in love with Kaká. Milan and Inter had drawn in the Champions League semifinals. And this is a lifetime experience that you're not going to regret. I walk into the entrance of San Siro. I start bawling. I didn't know this place existed outside of TV and FIFA, you know, like, it was so funny because every time Milan scored, I wanted to celebrate, but he looked at me like, don't. 2 rows behind me, jumps up with his son. 8 grown men get up from their seats and begin to swarm this father and son.
Gion Catalano is an Italian-Canadian independent artist from Montreal with deep love for people, storytelling, and everything Montreal. That is 100% sure, and you can see that in all of his content. So this gentleman will be joining us here in studio. He's into football. He's into fashion, culture, storytelling. There's some really interesting elements to the things that he does, and he'll be joining us here in studio, and I am very excited for this conversation. He is also going to be involved with goal this year for the first time, and so that'll be great too. I can't wait to see some of his footy moves on the pitch. Welcome back to the first half, TSN 690. I'm Paul Debaye, and Johnny Boy in the AC Milan Kaká original kit is sitting in front of me. Welcome, sir. How are you?
You know what? Now that I see you, I'm feeling much better.
Get out of here.
I know this is your show, but I have to start off by saying just thank you so much for not only having me, but for what you're doing for soccer in Quebec,
it's all
in
good.
Canada. You're a goat. You're a beast.
Goat. Look at this. Luca, you hear that? You hear that?
You got it.
I'm a goat.
You got to give him the flowers.
Yeah,
we love what you're doing.
You, sir, have, I think, a permanent chair at this point. Luca, we got to talk. Luca. So I read the bio. We read it out on air.
Oh.
I'm very excited to have you here, but I want you to sort of, there's one thing when somebody reads a bio, and it's another thing when somebody actually explains them, because what's on paper doesn't maybe reflect 100% what's right now. So Can you give the listener a little bit of your background and where the music comes from, where the culture, where the vlogging, the football? Give us a little bit backstory.
The 360. So my name is actually Jonathan Riccardo Girolamo Catalano. So
not a chance.
Exactly.
That's why I said John.
So I was born in Italy, actually in Assisi in Umbria, which is the central part of Italy, and we moved to Canada when I was quite young. But my family is Sicilian, but my father and mother were pastoring a church in central Italy.
Wow.
And just because of family situation that my mom had going on in Montreal, we moved back here when we were young, and my whole life, or my whole childhood, was really like, I was between my dad telling me like every year was the year we were moving back to Italy. So it kind of made me much more Italian than Canadian growing up, I guess, because would it be like abandonment issues, but cultural abandonment issues?
No, but you're always waiting for it to drop.
Exactly. So I was like, non sono canadese, I'm not Canadian, I'm Italian living in Montreal. And so,
that?
I promise you, I remember like I was actually thinking about this, talking to this with my little brother. I was like, I'd cry at the end of every school year because I thought this was the last time I'd see my friends.
And you were set up to, you were almost psychologically set up to always be on the way out.
Absolutely, which was funny because then after, when I turned 18, I spent a year in college. I was actually like, I mean, I've always loved music and I've always loved soccer, but I thought because I can't become a musician and I can't become a soccer player, I'm going to go into sports journalism. So I wanted to, so I studied at Dawson for a year, and it just kind of culminated into me understanding like I want to go back to Italy. I don't want to stay here. I'm not Canadian. I'm not one of them. And then I went to Italy, and we say in Italian, non sono né carne né pesce, which means basically I'm not meat or fish. Like I'm
You're neither.
Yeah, because you become too Canadian for Italians and too Italian for Canadians. Yeah. And so lived in Europe. I studied.
How old were you then?
I was 18 when I moved back to Europe, and so that was an experience in itself.
You were staying with your family back there, or
no,
you actually went solely, had to get a job to pay for?
No. I was studying.
Yeah.
I went in Rome. I studied in Rome. I studied in Belgium. I was studying theology at the time as well, which is a massive part of my life and faith. And And yeah, so after that,
Why couldn't you play football? No, but you said
know
I couldn't play football.
You know
I couldn't
what?
do like tell me
Let's
why.
make this into a therapy session.
No, it's
so
not therapy.
No,
Just
but
give
I'll
us-
tell.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. I remember I was 15 years old, and I was like one of those. I'm sure you could relate to this maybe, but I still am to this day. I just learned to hide it with the right people. I'm obsessed with soccer. Like, I'm gonna say like Jesus is a massive part of my life, but if I had almost a religion that wasn't that, it would be soccer. So up until 16 years old, I was incapable of socializing with anybody when the conversation had nothing to do with soccer.
Wow.
And I think like my parents were very like concerned. They're like, he's going to be, or I would say 14, like he's going to be let down because he's going to realize he's not going to become a professional
Yeah, but
player.
mom and dad, who's giving
Yeah,
you,
my-
where is this seed coming from?
So this is the thing. My dad loves soccer more than I do. Okay. Like this man has no vices. He is a family man. He loves the Lord. Like, but the thing that he loves is soccer. So I feel like he saw that he's good, but he's never going to be good enough to be what that is. And even though when I was 14 years old, he kind of told me, he sat me down and he told me in Italian, which is automatically more dramatic. And he tells me, he looks at me in the eyes. He's like, Joe, he's like, I got to tell you, like, you're never going to touch a ball in San Siro.
Like you just had to set you proper.
Like he had to tell me, he's
That's
like,
fair,
non toccherai mai una palla al San Siro. And I was like so devastated. I was like, what do you mean? Like, and I'm like, what about the World Cup? And it wasn't clocking to me.
It wasn't locking.
I wasn't,
Yeah.
I didn't get it. And he told me, I'm like, what about if I play for Canada? He's like,
You're like,
he's
whatever
like,
it
not
takes.
even
He's like,
Canada.
not even Canada.
Not even Canada. He's like, and so, but it kind of like helped me because I unfortunately know people that never got that discussion from their parents, and it was just almost like
A real letdown.
a fantasy, yeah, because they treat this like it's their entire lives, and as you should, because to make anything in life, I think you need to have a wholehearted commitment to what you're doing.
Whatever you're doing, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Wow.
So I got it from my dad.
sort of good for him. Hard at the moment to
Yeah.
accept.
Yeah, but we
But
laugh
mom
about
and
it
dad,
now.
mom and dad were totally into it. He's an AC
Yeah.
Milan guy as well.
Okay, so this is the thing. My rebellion started at a young age because he's an actual
you're
Inter
nuts.
fan.
Oh, dear
Luca, I'm
Lord.
looking at Luca. He's an Inter fan.
So your move was to destroy your family
Yes.
by choosing
Well-
the other into
So his
another
sibling,
Milan club.
notoriously Sicilians are mostly like Juve fans. So my dad went against the grain by being an Inter fan.
In his family.
Yeah, and the first act of rebellion I had towards my family was I remember like I don't know, like we got into an argument. I was 7 years old. What do I know about family dynamics at the time? But I just knew that the only hurtful thing I could do to my dad was to tell him that I'd become a Milan fan.
This
So
is horrible.
I know at 7 years old, this was my rationale, or 8 years old. So I told him, I'm like, I'm a Milan fan now. And he's like,
What
yeah, I know.
what could your
He didn't believe me.
father of
Yeah.
faith
Yeah.
possibly done
I know. He probably
to turn you at
he probably
7?
took away my Nintendo or something. I don't know.
Oh no,
Yeah, it was
Johnny.
very serious, very serious. And so ultimately, I fell in love with Kaká,
Yeah.
and just
Fair.
it wasn't a joke anymore. And now, like my favorite team was Kaká. My favorite player was Maldini, and I kind of grew up with such an iconic generation of Milan players. And so and so it was just he was always waiting for me to turn back, and I didn't. I was the prodigal son who never went back. Yeah.
Did that cause trouble at family dinners, or
Just
did because you were
confusion.
7, you were young enough that
Yeah.
it's like it's my son. I always support my
Yeah.
son. Eventually, he'll come around. You
Yeah.
never came around.
Mm.
How did that sort of play out? This is
You
not
know,
my line of
yeah,
questioning, but I
yeah,
gotta ask this.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I think like in Europe in general, there's a culture of like the team that you affiliate to, you're born into. You don't really choose your favorite team. Like it's usually local, or sometimes it's imparted to you by your father or by your mother, I guess.
Yeah, however.
But I mean, so the people never really understood, like, Mario, why is your son a Milan fan? You're an Inter fan. How is this happening? And like his siblings had kids that were Juve fans, and they would watch the games together. And in our house, we always had to watch all the Milan games and all the Inter games. And so it was a funny family dynamic, and I still like sympathize with Inter, like, because I just want to see him happy,
Mm.
But he watches Milan like he watches Milan. Like,
Oh, yeah,
he's
that's-
happy to see them lose. He's happy to see them
And
lose.
and this is together when you guys are together.
yeah, he's always rooting for the opposite team. Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys share a stadium.
Yeah, exactly.
That's even more odd.
It's much more to imagine. Like London, I know you're a massive Chelsea fan. London has like 5 different teams, if I'm not
and
mistaken.
more really. But if we're talking just Prem, imagine sharing a stadium
like with Tottenham fans
Arsenal.
and oh my
Dear
gosh,
Lord, man. It's just
Crystal
not
Palace. West Ham as well.
Yeah,
Oh
the
my
Hammers
gosh.
are there. Okay, so you realized your dreams are crushed at 7 and 14.
Yeah.
Well, no, 7 you destroy your father.
Yeah.
14 you're crushed.
You know what?
So 7
that's
years
full
later.
circle.
Yeah,
I never
full
made
circle.
that. I never.
There you go.
He
So
had
there's
that in
your
his back
therapy
pocket.
session. Yeah,
he had that in his back pocket
He
the whole
waited. It
time.
was gonna really leave
Makes
it
sense.
an impression.
Look, it makes sense now. Yeah.
And then, so now where do you decide to get into music?
Mm-hmm.
And then from you, like, give us now.
Sure.
From music at that,
who I am now
yeah,
today.
to where you are now. Yeah, to what you're doing now. But this is the point why you're here, and then we'll get into some football.
I mean,
and
I
stuff.
think honestly, like with music, it kind of just happened more or less around the time of COVID, where I was just going through like a really deep depression. I thought my life was ending. Some things happened in my personal life that was just like, what's the point? Like, I hate everything. I hate everything that I've built for myself. And it was really like a crisis of identity, of everything. And not to say there hasn't been more crises of that nature to this day, but at the time it was really difficult, and it was right before COVID, and I just kind of like, I had put music in the back pocket. I started playing music in church. Like that was really my introduction to music, and being able to, like, as a pastor's kid, wanting to contribute to the community.
It's there, huh?
It's
cool.
So that's how I kind of started singing and playing guitar. And then during that time, like, I guess to get over what I was going through, I just started writing music. And miraculously, I ended up meeting a producer through a friend of a friend who had worked with very significant artists like Jeremy, Charlie Puth, just a bunch of artists who had gone like platinum. And this producer, for some reason, we connected.
Connection.
There was like instant affinity, and he told me like, hey, like, I'd love to record your music. And I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna release. That's not who I am. I don't want to do that.
Huh.
And he just said, okay, we could record as long as you want, and you don't have to release anything. I'll just
get it down.
Literally. And so for a year, I was just processing everything I'd been going through up until that point, in the studio, crying in the studio. And he's like the most like engineer, like very cerebral type, like zero emotions, and like I was crying, like writing these things, and he just couldn't care less. But he couldn't care less in the sense
he nurtured it out of you.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
exactly. That's a great point. He nurtured. He was a great custodian of me being able
just
to like
guiding,
create.
Stay away, let you be you.
I would go to the studio like with full-fledged songs. If I want to record this, and every day that we went was a session. And to say like I'd stockpiled all these different songs, and then it culminated into the world being at the cusp of like ending, what it felt like the first time, right?
Terrible.
And so and then I was like, well, if I don't release music now, there's actually no point to releasing music. Because like, what am I gonna do with this? Like, generally it was like a apocalyptic almost fear. So I'm like, whatever. I'm like, I might as well. And so I released all the music, or I'd released an EP. I was off social media. That's how bad it was. Like, I didn't have an Instagram.
It's dangerous.
And I just opened up my Instagram a couple days before releasing the project. I had posted a couple of clips that I had filmed, and by the grace of God, it kind of opened up a bunch of different doors to like labels speaking to me, management companies talking to me, and they're like, "Where did you come from?"
Man. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it was really like a bunch of.
You gotta believe in a path.
Yeah, it was like, I want to say, and to be honest, I'm still on the path, so I don't want to make it seem like I think I'm anything that I'm not.
You haven't said that.
Yeah.
And the tone hasn't been that either. We're talking about where at the moment and how.
Exactly. I like to think of like certain players who bloom much later in their life, and they refine the craft, almost like a Barzagli. I don't know if you guys know him, but he's an Italian defender that kind of like, he got his opportunity. He came up from a similar crop of players of like the Nestas and the Maldinis and the Cannavaros, and it was only as he got older he got much better, and he kind of conquered a position on the national team, not as like an agile young defender, but as a much more experienced.
So basically, like a good
respected
cheese.
His craft.
So
Exactly. Good cheese, good wine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but because these serendipitous events, it kind of just led me to being able to pursue music on a more serious note, not ever full time, but just to be be doing something a bit more intentional.
Which then leads you to where you are. Like, what do you?
Yeah, what do I do now?
Well, no, because you're
Luke is still confused. He's like, "What's going on? What's the conclusion to the story arc?"
There's no, there won't be a conclusion on this show.
Yeah,
so that's the whole point.
I love that.
There won't be a conclusion. So you're now. When someone says, "Hey, so what's up?" Maybe
what do you do?
Jam together. Yeah, what are you up to?
Yeah,
what are some of the projects you're working on?
Yeah, absolutely. And because I as it was, I'm assuming mentioned before, like I'm an independent artist, so everything that I've ever spent on music has been like strictly out of my pocket, and also because of the people who follow my music, like I was able to sell merch, like a ridiculous amount of merch just by the people who listened. So to make you understand, like I've gotten over, I think, like more than 10 million streams independently without ever being playlisted or anything, but that is a fraction compared to what I was able to sell through the merchandise of people just supporting and showing love. And so music is a very expensive undertaking. And what also facilitated that was just like my work that I get to do of working as a brand consultant, as a marketer, and being able to create content for businesses here locally in Montreal that, they've taken a liking to me, and I with them as well. And it's kind of permitted me to have a certain financial freedom to pursue these creative ventures without too much pressure of
it's very important. What people don't realize is that when you're working with somebody, if you're not doing your own content, and again, I want to get us to football, but when you don't do your own content, you work with somebody else to help tell your story, let's say. It's in that sort of start point relationship. You're building something together, even if it's, hey, I have this business or I have this product and I need you to help me tell my story.
Absolutely.
If it's done with the right intent, it becomes a very emotional synergy.
Oh my gosh!
If it's
so
not,
true.
it can be very raw and very just like, hey, do this, no problem. Here's how much. Very different storytelling.
And I feel like you would probably sympathize with this, but like I'm not very good at doing things that I'm not convicted or passionate about. And so that kind of translates into me choosing clients and businesses that I really do believe in and that I do love. And what it allows me to do is to learn from the people that I have in front of me. And so much has been taught to me through like I've learned more about music and about storytelling through chefs and restaurant owners than I've ever learned through cinematographers or artists. Like when people ask me for inspiration, like I think of like my friends, Richie from Segreta or like Danny from Well Done, and I see that the way they craft the story of their own pizza is so much closer to what it looks like to make a successful song or movie or clip, and much more than anything film related. Or my friend Dan from Bosa, who I also work with.
Exactly. Very good. And some of those guys, hopefully we'll see them next season in here. Okay, so look, let's get to the love of football. It's clear, and then we're going to start, and then we'll take a commercial break, and then we'll come back and do a little bit more. So what I want to ask you a little bit about, because I do know a little bit about this. Tell me about one of the most intense positive experiences you've had at a football match in Europe. Can you think of something? Because I feel because I know, and then we're going to go to a negative one.
Okay.
So
positive?
I want positive first. So a positive experience, what the game was, who was involved, that kind of thing.
So a few years ago, I had this insane idea. I blame my friend Justin for this. He told me, he's like, Milan and Inter had gotten drawn in the Champions League semifinals. It's like this freak of nature thing that never happens, right? Because Italian teams are broke and they're not supposed to be in the Champions League semifinals, but it just so happened that the derby was the semifinals. And so he's like, oh man, like imagine we went. I'm like, yeah, imagine we went, right? I'm like, it's so expensive. He's like, it's so expensive. And what ended up happening was he bought the tickets. And he's like, look, you don't have to pay me back now. He's like, but we're going to go. And this is a lifetime experience that you're not going to regret. And so we ended up going to Milan for the weekend to watch the game. Milan got slapped 3-0, but it honestly didn't matter exactly. You understood already. It didn't matter. And I get out of the car and like it's actually like it felt like.
Had that been the first time that you were going?
It was the first time I was ever in Milan because I'm a Southern boy. I'm a Southern Italian. Like the North felt like a foreign land to me. It almost didn't even feel like Italy. So it was the first time I was in Milan. And I get out of the Uber, and right away I get like 3 like people trying to sell me things, and I told them, I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, che cavolo fai, sono italiano. Like, don't try to sell me something. I'm Italian. Like, I'm not gonna, because they want you to put the bracelet on, and like then they accuse you of stealing. Anyway, it's kind of like Ponzi.
Yeah, it's pickpocket style.
I'm telling you, I don't know if you've ever been to Stamford Bridge. but I walk into the entrance of San Siro, I start bawling as a kid. Like, did the lights just go out?
Yeah, the lights just go out. But go on, keep talking.
Okay, but I started bawling as like a little kid, and I was like, where am I? And I was just overcome with emotion, and walking into the San Siro and just seeing the tifo and seeing just the atmosphere, and you're like, you think you love soccer, you think you love football, but you don't, because these people live it to a
To
much
another extreme.
Really, it really is that, and I say that.
Well, just the tifo, and I got to cut you off because I know
Tell me.
that look
Yeah.
or that feeling or that smell or the first time you see flags that have been hanging there for years.
Oh my
Because some
gosh.
stuff doesn't come
Yeah,
down,
you're
right?
so-
All the
yeah,
way at the
yeah,
top
yeah,
in the corners,
absolutely.
those things don't come down.
Yeah.
When you see that for the first time,
Insane.
you don't know what's going on. Like
Yeah.
you don't even know how to absorb
No,
it.
I get goosebumps
Yeah.
right now talking about it.
Because I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about, like that first entrance
Oh
into.
my God. Like, it was such
Amazing.
and I was just crying like a baby the entire time. 'Cause I was just overcome with emotion. I just felt like I didn't know this place existed outside of TV and FIFA, you know, like, and to be there and to experience it and to see the players and to see all these people gather, like, it's really something beautiful. And I know that you're a big proponent of this, even through goal. Just the fact that soccer is such a communal thing, because it kind of equalizes everybody from different races, from different cultures, from different languages and belief systems, and it kind of just brings everybody together.
It's
and
the connector.
And you're in and San Siro is 80,000 people, and it was packed, like probably illegally packed because of all the people that weren't supposed to be there.
It was over 80, and it's blue and red too. That's the other thing.
Yeah,
You're
it's a
in
city
it
that's
at a
divided.
yeah,
Exactly,
yeah.
it's a city that's divided
Down
by
the line.
Oh my gosh,
Like down the line.
Yeah.
I've never been there for anything like that.
Yeah.
But I've been into some stuff where.
Can I
it's
ask
down
you
the
yours,
line.
or I have to
no,
wait? Okay.
This is about
once
you.
you.
This is about you. One day you and I will continue to get to know each other. We'll talk further.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, I'm going to ask you about a negative, because that's a positive life affirming,
I already
beautiful
know.
one. We're going to go negative, and then we're
going
going to get into some 12 questions, because unfortunately, we could go on forever.
Hey, I love you, man.
But we're going to get you
Can
back.
we still be friends after this?
We're going to be friends for a long time. Okay, so we're going to go to commercial break. I want to thank again Quincaillerie Notre Dame in the Sud-Ouest for serving the community for over 135 years. We're going to go to a commercial break. We'll come back, and we're going to talk to Mr. AC Milan himself, Johnny Boy. What a great way to get to know you on air. This has been one of my favorite parts about being here at the first. Yeah. This is where we'll flip it for one moment, then we're getting back to you. But that I've had this opportunity with all these boys and girls that have come through here, and we get to know each other. This is, for me to be able to have some time to talk to people, is the best. And so we're getting to know a little bit more about you, not just letting what I see online or how we've connected, because it's usually a little bit not superficial, but it's lightweight and there's not much. And again, this is the whole point, and this is the whole thing about football. So again, thank you for joining us in studio. So now that we've gone on the positive, I definitely got to ask you, what has been one of the most intense or negative experiences to date, because there's lots of football left in your life to happen, that you could tell us about on air? Are
we still comparing like live experiences?
Live,
like,
yeah.
Okay,
totally.
When I was,
because I'm sorry, but there's no comparison.
No, it's not. You're right. I'll tell you. When I was living in Italy, I had a friend of mine in Palermo that told me he could get me tickets to watch Palermo versus Milan in the Serie A. And it was in the stadium in Palermo, and he told me, and it was I believe the second year of Dybala in Palermo. So Dybala was still a youngster, and he was like just a promising talent, and he was playing in Palermo. And he told me, John, I could bring you to the stadium, we could go watch the game, but you can't wear any Milan gear.
Yeah, of course.
Of
course, man.
But bro, like if you see someone with that, you see people who go watch Habs games, Montreal versus Toronto, and they're wearing Toronto jerseys. But this is what I want to show. My North American mindset was like, okay, this guy, like, he thinks that, what's gonna happen, like, if I show up with a Milan shirt. So what do I do?
Totally.
I'm showing up with my Kaká jersey, and I'm like so
Montreal,
excited.
Yeah.
But I'm Italian. Like, you're not gonna start beef with another Italian. I'm like, I'm one of you guys, you know. And he looks at me, he's like, bro, you don't listen, man. Like, I told you can't. So he makes me change. He buys me like a 10-year-old like shirt to put over, and he's like, you're gonna wear this gray like canottiera, and you can't show up. And I had to wear a jacket. It was like 35 degrees.
Yeah, you're cooking.
So
you're
I
sweating.
I get there, and it was just a very intense game, and I'm like, oh my gosh, are they gonna win? Are they gonna lose? And every time it was 3-2. Okay, Menez scored the winning goal in like the last minute.
Gorgeous.
And it was so funny because every time Milan scored, I wanted to celebrate, but he looked at me like, don't you dare move.
He's
don't
holding
say
your
anything.
arm. He's
Don't-
holding
yeah,
your
no,
leg. He's like,
I'm not exaggerating.
No, I know.
That was the vibe. And I'm like, this guy is like really on something, man. Like,
What's his
he's
problem?
being so dramatic,
Yeah.
literally. And so then in the last minute, it was 2-2. Milan scores, and it's 3-2. And I'm just like, that's all I did. So I just kind of like winced, and I'm like, yes. I whispered a yes. But at the same time, I had this reaction. A guy, the whole game, 2 rows behind me, jumps up with his son, and they start celebrating. Like it was just stronger than them. They get up and start celebrating. The second the celebration came out, the stadium was like super quiet. The second he gets up with his son, I kid you not, 8 grown men.
Yeah.
Okay, this isn't in the ultra section. These are the casual fans.
Yeah.
8 grown men get up from their seats and begin to swarm this father and son and begin to tell him, who do you think you are? What are you doing? And you call yourself Sicilian. Why are you here in our arena? What are you doing with your son? What kind of education are you giving him going for a northern team?
They're going
and they would just like, I was afraid they're going to lynch him. And my friend has he's sweating for me, and he looks at me kind of like, non dire niente, don't say anything, because I'm like, do I rush in? Do I tell them I'm one of them as well? He's like, don't say anything. It's just perfectly normal. The worst they'll do is like, they won't touch the sun. And just kind of deal with it. But seeing that intensity, I guess that could be a funny negative experience.
If his son wasn't there, it might be a whole other thing.
You know what? But I'm not kidding. Can you imagine 8 grown men like with families
I can. Yeah, it's not
debts
comfortable.
and lines of credits getting up and starting a problem with it was really
wow,
insane.
no,
Like,
and that
this
is
serious.
again, people that haven't seen that kind of intensity, that's like the old Habs Boston kind of stuff. Like,
it's nothing like
if you've never seen it or been involved in it or felt that energy, you
Yeah.
just don't understand. It is that intense.
Yeah.
I gotta ask you just quickly about
Tell
goal,
me.
and then we gotta get to 12 questions.
do it.
You're gonna be involved with goal this year for the first time,
A dream come
right?
true.
Now get out.
No,
of here.
I
Look at this
messaged-
guy. Look at this
I
guy.
messaged you last year on Instagram, and I'm like, I want to be a part of this. What do I do? And you're like, it was packed at the time. I think it was already like registration was
So
full.
good.
But I really do. I'm being honest with you, man. Like I really appreciate what you do for soccer and the culture here. And I look at it like the next generation of people are gonna have it so much easier because of people like you who've built a way and pioneered something through Goal Initiative. It is my dream. Don't tell me it's
Amazing.
not.
So
I
we're
messaged you.
very-
We've
so-
got the receipts.
Okay, we got the receipts. Nonetheless,
Yeah.
you're going to be there.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's important to back community-based projects and whatever they are? It doesn't. I mean, we're talking football.
Yeah.
We don't have to talk about goals specifically. I want to just ask, why do you think that's an
Yeah.
important thing? Obviously, I know now a little bit more about your faith, so that definitely plays into it.
Absolutely.
But faith or not,
Yeah.
community is
human
for
thing.
everybody. Yes, right.
It's a human thing.
Tell us why.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes we get so lost in and inundated by all the things that we see on social media, and we tend to have a real global scope of issues, and we forget the importance of supporting our own cities and our own quartier. And so for me, initiatives like Goal is really a context for people to be able to connect with other people in our city, because we don't need to look too far to see the people that are in need. Not that we have to disregard what's happening on a global scale, but I do believe that there's something really special when we as Montrealers connect with people and see that there are those that don't come from the same financial backings as us. And the same way that soccer kind of connects before being a fan of any team, we're all human, we're all in need of each other. And so I think initiatives like this helps us to kind of get out of our own bubble, our own world, and just kind of do things that we don't really otherwise would do.
Yeah, and meet other like-minded boys and girls, which I
Yeah.
think is really cool. Well, again, I'm thrilled to have you, and I'm thrilled to get to know you, and I'm thrilled that
Same.
this is the beginning of hopefully a long, friendly relationship,
Yeah.
and hopefully Chelsea and
Milan.
AC don't meet.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into 12 questions right now. So you got to be ready, Catalano. You ready? You ready for this? You're drinking the water.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Right. You were jiving. Have you not heard that before?
I'm psyching myself.
Do you know
into
what?
this.
Do you know where that music's from?
No.
Sesame Street. One of the greatest tracks
Classic.
ever.
Classic.
All right, this is 12 questions on the first half here on TSN 690 with Gion Catalano. You ready to go?
Let's do it.
Question 1, what is your favorite film?
Spider-Man 2.
Number
Tobey
two-
Maguire.
Okay.
Sorry,
Yeah, no problem. Number 2, what is your favorite song or band?
I'm going to go with Hillsong United and the 1975.
Nice. Very good. I'm sure you're going to name yourself. Number 3, favorite sports team.
Is that even a question? AC Milan and the Italian national team.
You got to answer it, dude.
Yeah.
Number 4, favorite athlete, dead or alive.
Ricardo Izixen dos Santos Liedkaka. I would probably blow up if I saw him in real life. I'd never want to meet him.
Blow up.
I would just melt.
Number 5, what is your favorite food?
My mom's spaghetti.
Amazing. Number 6, what is your favorite drink? Alcoholic and non-alcoholic.
Okay, non-alcoholic, I'm going to go with a classic Coke Zero Extra Ice. Alcoholic, whatever my girlfriend's dad is drinking, or my girlfriend, to be honest. I don't really have a preference for drinks. Whatever.
It's the
glass
dad
of wine.
That's amazing.
Yeah, or my girlfriend who orders like those fruity sweet drinks. I'm that guy.
You're done. That's cool. Number 7, what would be the one thing you would buy if you won the lottery?
Oh my gosh. A house in Sicily for my family, an intergenerational house. I don't know, man.
That's
or
cool.
Maybe a sports team. Maybe I'll send Mr. Saputo an offer for CF Montreal.
All right. Number 12 questions with
I love
Gion Catalano here on the first half, putting out tenders to buy CF Montreal. Number 8, dream trip.
The trip that I make every day on the 40 back home in Montreal.
Look at this guy. Yeah,
because that feels like I need to bring my passport as well.
Your next career is comedy. Number 9, how do you deal with stress?
Oh man, I buy a white poster at the dollar store and I draw all my problems and then I pray over them and I'm like, God, this is bigger than me. I need you, and that's how I deal with my stress. I have to buy a white poster at the dollar store and draw
like
them.
one of those cardboard boards.
Yeah,
so you
and
can
I draw all of them. Yeah,
amazing. This is a little first half after dark, sir. Pajamas or no pajamas?
No pajamas.
Ow!
No pajamas.
That's
no
okay. We
jammies.
leave it at that. We keep going with no jammies. Number 11. What is your favorite fashion brand at the moment?
Oh my gosh. Do we keep it local? I think St. Woods and Dime are doing a phenomenal job in the city, and obviously I love even just opportunities I get through different businesses. I'm thinking of brand deals that have coming up. But I'm like,
smart.
I should have said something.
It's okay. That's for when you come back.
Puma pajama.
That's for when you come
L'Oreal, every brand from L'Oreal.
back. Anything under that fashion brand. Number 12. Name one thing you cannot live without.
Oh my gosh, Jesus and my family.
Okay, wrapped up in one.
And my girlfriend. My girlfriend is my family, so yeah.
Again, there's no wrong answer.
Not that I'm dating a family member who's my girl. I meant like,
oh God,
I just caught myself and I was like, what am I saying?
You are saying everything perfectly.
Yeah.
The 12.1 to 12 question. Football is. I need one word from you. So football is.
Let's go with community.
Amazing, beautiful.
Yeah.
That was 12 questions here on the first half. Gion, that was
Thank you
amazing.
so much. Love you, man.
Honestly, dude, very exciting. And for those that want to put a face to this perfect radio voice, you can meet him July 27th at McGill Stadium.
Wait.
But again, we appreciate it, and we appreciate. I appreciate you coming in here and talking and opening up.
Man.
And I hope we'll be able to do it again. Yes.
Yes, I'd love that.
All right, amazing. So that was Gion. Again, thank you for joining us.